As VAR shows at Women's World Cup, this is the new normal. The has been brought to you by 3 letters VAR. The mandate of VAR video assistant referee Sue was not to become the story of the competition where it's used, but instead to rectify incorrect calls and ensure the deserving parties are rewarded and undeserving ones are punished. Remove controversy. Well, that hasn't quite been the case in France over the last 2+ weeks. On 3 occasions South Africa vs. Spain, on 2 massive occasions, and 3 in total, goalkeepers have been flagged for leaving the goal line too early on penalty kicks, resulting in both retakes which have shaped the field of teams that reached the knockout rounds and where in the bracket they've gone wand yellow cards. The excessiveness of it. This wasn't an issue last summer in Russia, when VAR made its first foray onto a senior World Cup stage. The rules being the women, for various reasons, haven't been exposed to that before, but that was not a huge concern entering the competition, as players and coaches pleaded for the implementation of VAR for months before FIFA finally acquiesced. What they didn't expect. On top of everything else, the review process is taking a lifetime to complete. Last summer, This summer, VAR has turned into the soccer equivalent of driving speed cameras. It's there to hold it. A looko isn't wrong, and these players are being used to establish the new normal. So, regardless of what you'd been taught to do before, the cameras are watching. Related slideshow scenes from the Women's World Cup provided by Iman.
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.